Hi, this is a video to YouDoubled and a reply to conference reports anger is an energy. And I wanted to make a video specifically to post on YouDoubled. I haven't really been able to pay attention to it. When I'm busy, even if I might actually, when I'm really busy, speed up some of my YouTube sometimes as I use it to brain dump. Like if I'm working really hard and I want to just, you know, sort of shake my thoughts into some other mode before I'm going to go to sleep or whatever. And it makes it really easy to use YouTube, for example, or any site of convenience, familiarity, or something that makes it easy. Since I can't upload things to YouDoubled, I'm actually a perfect person to use a new kind of video site, because I don't really care how many people are in my audience. If I have enough to talk every day and say, oh, and that's what you think, and go back and forth on a daily basis, then I can do it. But since I have to upload it somewhere else, it makes an extra step, and then the laziness kicks in against it. But I have been checking the things there, even when I wasn't uploading, and now that I have done neither, I've checking it, and I decided I will upload a link and log in, make sure I can still log in and everything. And that is a totally bicameral video, with that being the first camera, because really this is about anger is an energy. Now, all the emotions are energy. I mean, my cognitive model, I'm about to change the nature of my channel, and it'd be great if I could just close it and move it somewhere else. August 2nd is the date that I'm 6 years at that channel. But, which is a long time for me on one site, the longest ever, I think. So my view of psychology is very much about the affects, about the generality of affects, and senses. So, for example, we obviously have built-in senses. We obviously have built-in affects. Now, what do I mean by the affects? I mean in the translation of Nietzsche's sense of these emotional energies, like lust. I would consider hunger, other things that are motivational. Like you could get really hungry, and it could make you agitated and present you with a philosophical system to explain life in view of your constant hunger. Like it's going to generate energy that gets spent elsewhere in the mind. You know, if evolution has an intention, it's to design you such that you use that energy to go look for food, or go look for a partner in the case of lust, and so on. And with senses, we have built-in senses. But the generality of these things is that the mind, with all of its layer of abstraction, above or deeper in the mind or in the network, separate from these built-in affects and senses, are the ability to sort of program the mind and create artificial or abstract or virtual senses, right? Now, I think that any feeling that we have, any idea, anything, we perceive them. We perceive them as images, we perceive them as a shiver feeling. It's always could be called some perception. Perception's a good unifying concept. You could say it's too general, it's trivial if everything is a perception, but somehow we've managed to make distinctions where there's things distinct from perceptions, even though it seems also clear that everything is a perception. So we experience senses and affects both as perceptions. They're virtual versions of each other in the sense that they're like grammatically, in the grammar of ideas, they're replaceable, right? So, for example, an intuition of how to feed yourself, which seems obviously genetically built in, at least at the basic level, stuffing food in your mouth, you know. Even though that's built in, there's a natural kind of deep reason to say, oh, then it's intuitive or something like that, but that doesn't quite get it. But anyway, you know what I mean? It's built in, it's automatic. Well, what about shifting a car in a standard transmission? This becomes intuitive. Now, it's obviously not genetically built in, but by the repetition and the motor memory, it becomes something you don't think about. And there's other examples that you don't even know. Like a guitar player can play a beautiful song and not know which chords he's playing, or, well, which strings is it, or when you play that C, you're only plucking the top 3. I don't know, and he has to look at himself play just like anybody else would. You can build something that's like an intuition or automatic thing with the, you know, the wetware of the mind. So all the emotions are our energy. And that's where the metaphor for energy comes from, as opposed to matter and stuff and BBs and clay and the substance. The energy idea is supposed to be the idea stuff, and that's the funny thing, because it's such a good metaphor. Energy in the real world is a very good metaphor. The way it flows around the real world is very much like the way ideas flow around. And I think it's probably not a coincidence. Our ideas literally are energy flowing around in this network, and it's not so far-fetched. I mean, it's not so abstract or indirect that we don't end up feeling an experience that has part of the pattern of energy flow to it. You know, and again, we got the idea of energy in the real world out of energy in our mind, and originally it was spiritual magical energy, and then we came up with, oh no, there's photons and stuff to fit that idea. And it's still interchanges and exchanges, and is also surreal in a lot of ways. So, yeah, I think all of our feelings, our perceptions, our affects, they're all energy. And that's our unity with the physical world, with the physics of reality, is that our ideas are energy. We know that if we believe in materialism. Our energy ideas are how we would define energy, and everything is energy in that sense if we were idealistic or dream worlders. So no matter how you set it up, really, it's going to be that there's this sublime metaphor, a one-to-one thing between energy interaction, and ideas, and all emotions being ideas, and all emotions being sense generators. You know, a feeling of hunger from an affect is itself a feeling, which itself is a kind of sense. And you can make distinctions of degree more than kind. And we can invent kinds even, and make distinctions that are from invented kinds. And the spectrum is all of the senses, the traditional, you know, 5 senses, and then the feeling of hunger, and all of these feelings, and all of the virtual feelings, and all of the virtual and real intuitions. And that is this huge multidimensional color spectrum, a matrix of what a human mind can conceive of. And we have ways to deal with that in the coming centuries as a single multidimensional entity, where we understand how, you know, anger and hunger and the color red and the sound of water are all interrelated or not. You know, how all of those things wind together cognitively, and why that could make sense, and why it'd be different for another animal, but we're our own kind of animal, so we can go ahead and study that and, you know, get something out of it. So anyway, yeah, I guess it's pretty much obvious what I was saying.